Hey, what's going on? It's Mitch here, and in this video I want to share with you something that will completely transform your business. And it's not some, hyped up kind of thing. It's not like a marketing funnel, advertising, it's not Facebook ads. It's foundations, it's fundamentals, but it's one of the biggest things that is going to help you in your business really take off. And it's helped me take off in my business, going from, making $1,000 a month, living in my dad's basement, to now I'm making over $500,000 a year, over $502,000, $42,000 a month with my marketing business, and it's just continuously growing from there. And I'm going to show you how I did it, how you can start to implement this into your business and get those, astronomical exponential results. This is what I'm going to cover in this video: the importance of picking a niche market, how you pick a niche market, why you should even pick a niche market, and how you actually do that, how you find product market fit, how you find a market that has the needs, the problems, desires that you can help solve, and then how you actually go about reaching out to them, generating them as an appointment, closing them as a client, and then producing the result, and then getting a case study from them. So it's really the systematized process that you need to start implementing within your business if you want to see these massive results. So I want to talk about the importance of picking a niche now. It's kind of counterintuitive because a lot of people think, I'll just cast a wide net, and I'll just get more fish, right? And it kind of makes sense. If I cast a wider net, I'm going to essentially catch more things. Well, if you're going after the small fish, yeah, you're going to catch a lot of small little, guppy fish. But if you're going after the whales, if you're going after those, large clients, the ones that are going to actually pay you for years to come, that are really going to pay you what you're worth, and the clients that you want to work with, then you have to go and use like a harpoon and, really pinpoint and sniper scope out your ideal clients, rather than just, throwing out a wide net in hopes of getting a client. And that's the analogy I want you to think of. You'd rather use a harpoon and just, strategically snipe out your clients, or you can use a wide net and catch a bunch of guppy fish that aren't really going to feed you and not really going to produce many results for you in your business. What I want to share with you is how I kind of started out and how I kind of evolved, and now where I'm at and where we're going for the future, and kind of how you can implement this in your business to start to see some really solid results. So the one thing is, when I first got started, I was doing social media marketing. So I had a social media marketing agency. I was around 18 years old. I was door knocking on businesses, and I was going after any type of business that would, need social media marketing. And so I was all about me and my service, and, just going after any type of business that could use social media, right? And I wasn't even focused on them and their problems and their desires, but I'll definitely get into that. But I was going after restaurants, I was going after chiropractors, I was going to doctors, dentists, lawyers, real estate agents, the whole 9 yards, right? And because I just saw these traditional niches as what I should go after, right? And you probably see that too, or you have, some niches that you're going in, or that you go after, you have some clients in, and that's why you're going after them, right? And so I was going after all these different niche markets, and I had a few clients. I had, a couple of these restaurants under retainer. I was doing some Facebook ads, email marketing. I was posting on their Instagram, stuff like that. I also had a few chiropractors that had as client as well. Problem there is I was kind of spread out all over, and I had no focus. So, one time I'd walk into a restaurant, I'd close them on the spot. I'd get an email from one of these chiropractors saying, yes, I would like to get on a call, right? And then I'd close them there. So it was like I'd go into a restaurant, I would close them in person, or I'd get a cold email back and I'd close them there, or I'd give them a cold call, and I'd close them there, or I'd send them a video pitch. And it was really just like random acts of marketing that was, actually trying to get them, and I had no focus. So I was going after all these niche markets, had all these different random, strategies to try and get these guys as clients, and it wasn't producing much results. I was broke as fuck, excuse my French, but I was living in my dad's basement, and I wasn't really getting that much progress. I came across the process and the idea of really just niching down and really narrowing my focus to one thing. So instead of going after all these businesses, I just went after one business. And instead of going at, using all these different forms of marketing, like cold calling, cold emailing, all these things, I just stuck to one attraction method, which was LinkedIn. You have to look at it this way. So you have to look at it as the generalist versus the specialist. So this is what I'm talking about, is you're attracted to these types of people, because when someone can tell you, look, I know your problem, I know what you're going through, and I understand it better than you do, and I have the solution to your problem, you automatically are like, wow, this person is the perfect fit for me, right? And so that's how you, boom, you get a match and they become a client because they're attracted to people and things that produce the most value and that they can see that will produce the most value for them in the future, right? So that desired future state and that they want to be in, right? Because people buy futures. They don't buy things. They don't buy products and services. They buy desired futures. And that's a big shift that you have to understand. And there's a recipe for success is you want to find what people want, you want to understand it better than them, and then you want to sell it to them with ease. And once you get them as a client, you want to streamline the process so that you can rinse and repeat it over and over again. So one thing that you can do, and how I found my niche market, is you really want to think of it as the general practitioner, like the doctor who does anything. You go to the doctor, they look at your knee, they give you some medicine, and you just go home and they just get paid basic salary, and they're not really that like with status, they don't make that much money. They're just just kind of average. But you look at the brain surgeon, and they're really special, but there's even deeper than that. Brain surgeon who just specializes in tumor removing or something like that, right? So they're really special. They're a brain surgeon, but they only help a certain type of client, right? And so anyone that needs a brain tumor removed from their brain, that's who they go to. And then they climb to the top and they get paid more. More people go to them because if you have that specific problem and it's life or death situation, you're gonna go to this brain surgeon and you need that problem solved, right? So that's what you need to think about is how can I become the brain surgeon and solve this specific problem that it's kind of like a life or death situation. If they don't solve this problem, if they don't have this result, then they're not gonna be able to survive. And you can relate that to business as well. So one thing I want you to think about is becoming this brain surgeon. And the way you do this is becoming a specialist. Become a specialist within your marketplace. And I want you to go an inch wide and a mile deep. So I want you to just focus on a small segment rather than a mile wide and an inch deep. You're a generalist, right? Because you may know Facebook ads, you may know email marketing, you may know all these different things with like e-commerce clients, you may know, dentists, doctors, lawyers, you may know, whatever, right? But you may know just like that much about a lot of things. You want to be, a lot, so depth on a specific type of client, right? So one thing that I was doing when I first got started and when I really honed and refined this and started to put this into practice, I went after financial advisors and I specifically helped them generate high net worth clients with $500,000 minimum in investable assets, and I helped them generate qualified appointments with business owners and high net worth individuals. So that's what I was doing, and I was helping them. That's all I did. So I only helped financial advisors, and I kind of steered away from that because, and I'll tell you why, because once you start to become a specialist, you can then open it, and now you have a depth of knowledge on a specific topic and a specific solution that you can solve, but you can also go to a wider market. And I'll tell you what I'm doing now, how I kind of transition, but you want to really focus on that specific market, so that sub-niche is what I call it, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you want to go deep in that to solve that specific problem for them, and you can kind of streamline your process and all that. So the first way is you want to look at it like this. You want to look at it as like industries. So you can see here like surface level industries. So here you have the industries, right? Or markets that you can go into. So these are industries. So these are like surface level markets that you can go into. So this could be the surface level. So this could be service-based businesses is like service level. Or you could even go deeper than that, which is like coaches, for example. So maybe your industry is like, okay, I know coaches, I like people who help people make a transformation, those kind of things, right? So these are like industries that you know or that you've already like had some success in. Whatever, you look at your clients, okay, these are some industries that I know and that I can see I could potentially help, right? So you want to kind of pick the surface level niche market that you feel that aligns with your interest as well. So then you have the skills that you have or the skills that you can learn. Right? So you have the skills that you can have or learn, and then you have the markets, needs, and desires. So this is the most important part right here, which is the market's needs and desires. It's because it doesn't matter if you have an industry, you have a skill. For example, I see this all the time. People say, here's my industry. I like e-commerce and Facebook ads, for example, right? And that's the skills that they have is Facebook ads. And they think that I just need to offer this client this skill, which is Facebook ads, and they think that's how they pick the niche or whatever. And it's more about the market's needs and desires. So an e-commerce company, if you're doing e-commerce, like if you're drop shipping and that's who your target market is, okay, well, what type of e-commerce clients do you want to go into? Is it higher ticket products? Is it health and fitness e-commerce businesses, right? So you get more specific than just that, right? Because you have to go deeper into the niche to find like different sub niches, and then you can like find your actual niche. So if they struggle, if these e-commerce clients, if they struggle and their pains and their needs are that they need to sell more of these products, or maybe they need email marketing. Maybe they have the Facebook ads down point, but you're trying to sell them Facebook ads. That's not going to resonate with them, and you're not going to get them as a client. Maybe they need email marketing. Maybe they need some follow-up. Maybe they need some retargeting or something like that, right? So you need to think about, okay, it's not just the markets, it's not just the skills and the industries, it's also about the needs of what this client's selling. So I'll give you a prime example. So when I was first, starting out and, starting to market to these financial advisors, I had that financial advisors, that was the niche I wanted to go into. And then below that, I had the skill set of Facebook ads. So I was helping these local businesses, restaurants, all that stuff with digital marketing, Facebook ads, email marketing, all that stuff. And so I had the skill set of Facebook ads. So when I went to financial advisors, I started to say, look, I can help you get more high net worth clients using Facebook ads, right? And for them, they can't really use Facebook ads because there's a lot of like compliance issues and stuff like that. So that was one thing. And also maybe there's not enough high net worth clients on Facebook, for example, or maybe a different platform would be better. Maybe Google AdWords, maybe LinkedIn marketing, right? So I didn't take, and I want you guys to really understand this. Don't think that you just need to focus on the skills, the skills or the actual how to solve the problem, because it's more important if you find the market's needs and desires and the industry, right? So it's more important if you find this and then you go and you find this, because once you find this, the market's needs and desires and what they actually want, what their desire is, what their problem is, and how you can solve it, then you can go offer the service and generate that with ease. Because then I started to offer them, look, I can help you get high net worth clients, generate qualified booked appointments in your calendar. And so that's their problem. And number two was the desire was to generate higher net worth clients. So these minimum $500,000 investable assets. So then from there, I saw that, okay, I can offer that to them as the problem and the solution to their problem, right? So I started to offer LinkedIn marketing, because LinkedIn, I can target executives, I can target higher net worth people on LinkedIn and do LinkedIn as a service, generate them as appointments. So I solve their problem and I get their desired result. So I started offering that, and that's how I scaled my business up to around $42,000 a month, just offering that. But I focused on the market's needs and desires, and then just positioned myself as a specialist on how I could solve that problem. And then I figured out, okay, how can I actually do this? And I used my recent skills, and I learned new skills as I was starting to market to them. I learned the skill of LinkedIn marketing, then I just offered to them and showed them how to do that as well, and generate them appointments and help them close higher net worth clients. So that's what you want to think about, is not you. It's not about you. It's not about what you already know or anything like that. Obviously, you can have your business still, but you can start to think about, okay, what niches do I want to go into? So write a list of like 5 industries that you would like to go into, that maybe from your current clients, people that you really enjoy working with, or that also like what problems are out there in the world. Maybe you find that there's a big market need, and then you dive into the industry and who you want to solve. Go deeper into the sub niche to find that highly profitable sub niche. So I didn't just go after financial advisors. I went after investment advisors and financial planners, and I found that they wanted that specific type of client, and boom, I offered to them, and that's how I found this. And that's my next point, is I want to show you how you can find product market fit. And it's similar to this, but it's a lot deeper. And once you find the niche market, once you find the sweet spot, right? Once you find the sweet spot and you nail your niche, you know your niche market, now you kind of have to find that you have to go and talk to them. So you can do this through sales appointments. You can do this through niche market interviews, which I'll talk about. You can do this on LinkedIn. So you can actually go to your niche market and you can start to interview your clients. So these different people in the marketplace. So you can start to interview them and ask them, what problems are you facing? What are your struggles? What's your desired situation? What keeps you up at night? What are your biggest pains or problems? What are your top 3 daily frustrations? What do you really get angry about? What do you wish you had in your business, right? And you ask them these questions to pull out their desired situation so that you find their market needs and desires. Once you kind of hit this pinpoint, this is when you find the niche market. This is when you really understand your niche. But once you have the niche, now it's about finding product market fit. So does your service and your market fit your clients that you want to go after in the niche market that you want to go after? So this is a different process, and I'll show you how that works right here. Product market fit. So product market fit is basically how you get everything in alignment that is going to help you, effortlessly close deals. Clients are going to be coming to you, and this is how you do it. So once you have your niche market, right? So once you have your market, now you start to analyze it and start to try and find that product market fit. And it doesn't have to be a product. It could be a service. It could be a program. It could be whatever you're selling, right? But it's just product market fit. They say this in the technology industry, the SaaS, and all that stuff. So this is just what product market fit is. And so you have demand, you have the product, and you have the competition. So for the product, what do you do best? So if that's Facebook ads or it's whatever, we kind of talked about that, the skills that you have or can learn, right? So once you know, okay, what do you do best? What's going to be your service or product that you're going to be offering? What's the transformation you can help people do? Then you got to analyze, okay, the competition. How are you different? And this is a huge one because once it's not just, okay, I do Facebook ads or, I can help you with your sales funnels or something like that. It's more something about how are you different at solving that problem and helping people, make that transformation. So one thing, I'll give you an example and how you can kind of use this. When I first started, selling to these financial advisors, I started to, said, I'll help you, solve their problem, get your result, so get appointments and, acquire these high net worth clients through digital marketing, right? And when you say that, it's so generic. Okay, I had the niche, I had the pretty good message, but it was still generic because I still was going at digital marketing, and it worked a little bit. I got a few clients out of it, and then I started transitioning to Facebook ads and funnels, right? And so that was my message, was a similar thing, solving their pain and getting their and getting their desired result through Facebook ads and funnels. Still super generic, it's more specific now, but it was so generic, and they didn't really know if that would even help them solve their problem, right? And now I was like, okay, how can I mix this in and how can I make it, really different from everyone else out there in the marketplace that was trying to sell to these financial advisors, especially on LinkedIn. So I started to look at it and okay, how am I different? So I started to come up and I started to put in what I call a new mechanism or a proprietary method. And once you grasp this concept, even if you have, a good message and you tap this onto it, it's going to make an already great message 10 times better. So the new mechanism or a proprietary method is how you're actually different and how you do the same sort of thing. So it could be still Facebook ads and funnels, but your process and how you do it and your approach on how you go about it and how it's specific to their problem and getting their desired result. So I'll give you a prime example. When I was going after these financial advisors, they wanted high net worth individuals that had a minimum $500,000 in investable assets, right? So they want high net worth clients. So what I started to do is I put into my messaging AUM acquisition formula. So I help financial advisors generate qualified booked appointments with business owners and high net worth individuals and acquire $500,000 investable assets every single month with predictability or whatever through my AUM acquisition formula. And AUM stands for assets under management, right? So that wasn't my exact message, but it was similar to that. And it's an AUM, assets under management. But for me, it was attract, understand, message. And it was kind of like just the process on how I actually go about it. So it was like an acronym. So it's AUM, and AUM, assets under management, I related it into my funnel and my process, and that's how I started to get really, really solid results because they're curious, like, what is this AUM acquisition formula? I want to acquire assets under management, and you have the formula for that, tell me more about your process. So my message that was already pretty good got exponentially better because I put in a proprietary method on what I was doing and how I helped them solve their problem that no one else was talking about. No one was talking about AUM acquisition formula that they wanted that solved their problem. They were talking about Facebook ads and LinkedIn and all these bullshit. Even though that's what I was selling them, I positioned it as this, as my own process. And you create like a moat around your business. You get out of that shark-infested red ocean and you have your own blue ocean that has these healthy fish that you can just go and every single day just reel them in, right? And that's what you want to think about. And so that's how you differentiate yourself. New mechanism or a proprietary method, you can come up with yours. So if you're in e-commerce, maybe it's some sort of process and how you do it, but it can't be cheesy and it can't be like, you're just saying this, it doesn't even sound real, right? Come up with a process that's, one, it's going to be, resonate with them. It's going to be aligned with the niche market. So for me, financial advisors, they want assets under management. That's why AUM kind of worked really well. So that's what you want to do there. Come up with yours and just write something out. That right there will help your message become so much more aligned. Demand. What are your customers looking for? So you have to look at the market's needs, right? So you have to understand, like, what are they looking for? What do they want? What's their problem? How can you solve it, right? And so you have to look at that. And maybe your customers are looking to generate more appointments and more clients. Maybe your clients want to maximize their email list, or maybe your clients want to get a specific type of client. Well, you have to look at that. Okay, what are your clients looking for? And then you can have these different processes. So once you have the demand and the competition, you have a market opportunity. You'll be able to go and exploit that opportunity and capitalize on it, right? Then demand and product. You have the market relevance. So is your product relevant to the demand of the niche market? And if it is, then boom, you have these two in alignment and it's relevant to the market and it's going to resonate with them and it's going to be relevant and you're going to get some appointments. It's going to really, resonate. It's going to be a strong message. Then you have the product and competition. So that's the market fit. So if there's a market, you have to have the right product for the market and you also have to have differentiation from the marketplace. That's how you have the market fit. And if you have all three, you have product market fit. And it's these combination of variables here. I have one, you're trying to optimize for solving the niche's gnarliest problems. So solving the niche's problems, what do they really struggle with and how can you solve that? And how can you position yourself as that solution to their problem, right? Then you have the differentiation from other most market offers. So this is differentiating yourself from everyone else out there. You do that through your proprietary method or your new mechanism. And number three, it's aligned with your expertise. So it goes back to what I was talking about with what you know and your skill sets or what you can learn, right? So you can always learn new skills and apply it, right? So that's what you need to focus on is these three things. And this is what I call cracking the code. And I'll talk more about that and how you can optimize for this sequence of variables to actually crack that code, unlock the door, and it's an abundance of opportunity. Clients are just going to be coming to you, and you're going to be able to scale your business exponentially. But this is a recipe for success. So with product market fit, with how you pick your niche market, this is what you want to do. You want to find what the market actually needs or wants. You want to find what the market actually needs or wants, so their gnarliest pains and problems, their deepest desires, and then you want to understand it better than they do themselves. So you want to understand their problems better than they do, and you do this by going into depth on what their problem is. And I'll talk about how you actually find that in a second, and how you actually know for a fact instead of just guessing, and not even knowing for an absolute this is exactly what their problem is, and you're just kind of making assumptions. And then you want to sell it to them with ease, right? So there's three key components on this, and it goes into product market fit, and it goes into what I just talked about with the niche and how you actually select your niche. So there's three main components that you really want to focus on, and this is what I call kind of cracking the code, and I'll get into this and how you can optimize. But you have the niche, right? So you want to pick a niche. Then you want to be able to solve their gnarliest problems, right? Or deepest desires. So you have niche, you have solving their problems, and then you have your offer, your how you're differentiating yourself from the competition. So you have your offer, right? So now we know these three things. We know these three variables. We know the niche, but now we have the offer and the message that we're going to be putting in front of them and how we're going to be helping them. Then we have the result or the outcome, the desired situation that they want. Solving that problem, getting their desired situation, right? So that's what we're really going to be optimizing for, is these three things. So if you look at it on this, and this is a powerful thing that you can do, and it never stops. So one you have is niche. So you set the hypothesis for your niche, because right now it's still a hypothesis. It's not proven yet, and you will prove it over time once you get some clients and you get them results, all that stuff. But once you have the hypothesis, you set the niche as the hypothesis, right? Then it collides with your offer, right? So then you collide with your offer. So how you're going to be helping them. So that goes into what we talked about with the product market fit. So it goes into your competitive advantage, so your new mechanism or proprietary method, and the offer and the product and how it can solve their problem, right? So that's the offer which you're going to be presenting to them on the sales call, on even on a marketing message. So if you're doing LinkedIn, if you're messaging them, if you're doing Facebook ads, the ad that you're putting in front of them, and the webinar, and getting them, or whatever you're going to be using to driving them into a call, or whatever your mechanism is. Once you get them onto a phone call, then you're going to be presenting your offer, and right. So that's what you're going to be doing. And depending on the outcome, so your offer and the outcome that it can help them, that's what's going to be the result of that. So what's the result is it can be twofold. It could be the result that they want to achieve, and you got that on point. So right now you have a hypothesis on your niche, on your offer, and your outcome. But to even set a hypothesis, you need to actually speak to your market. And this is what I was talking about with these niche interviews. So one thing you want to do is you want to do interviews with your niche. And you can do this through LinkedIn, or you can do it through your network, or you can send them an email and just set up a call. And your whole process that you're going to be doing is trying to find out, okay, this niche, these participants in this niche on LinkedIn. So you can go to LinkedIn. You're not selling them anything. You're not selling them anything. But the beauty is, once you find their problem and you find the offer that you can offer them, you can go back to them and sell them. But you want to go and just go into the interview, and you want to just diagnose their problems and seeing what they're struggling with, right? So you do have to do interviews on LinkedIn. So you can do LinkedIn, like kind of, we call it R&D, research and development, kind of just interviews. So you can do this on LinkedIn. You can do it through your existing network, and you can survey some people. Just understand your niche market. You just do the surveys, find what their problems are. So you can do this in the niche research phase. So when you're finding your niche market in the different markets, once you have that, you have your hypothesis on these three things. So the niche, you have a hypothesis now on the offer and the outcome that you can help them with, right? So once you understand this and you kind of go about it, then you can start to offer them in the real market. And this is for real market testing. So you have interviews, right? So this is hypothesis. Then you have real market. And I want to highlight real market results or data, right? And this is by doing actual sales calls, pitching your offer. So this is what we're talking about here. So you have your hypothesis, you get it from here. Understanding your niche, what we talked about with actually picking your niche and why you need to pick the niche, and then product market fit, how you actually come about that, that collided. And this is the three things that you get out of once you have your product market fit. You have your niche, your offer, which is the product or service you're selling, and you have the result that you can help them get, and the result from the call and the offer designs. So if you go through it, you for example, you're selling accountants or whatever, selling them with your proprietary method, your accounting, generating client generating machine, whatever, and then you have the outcome, which is you get them as a client. Well then, or you don't get them as a client. So there's feedback on both positive and negative. So you want to listen to this feedback, and you can iterate your message from there, right? So this is how you do it. And once you get that outcome, then you can start to feed it back around and just improve and iterate your message. And it's an iterative process. And I want you guys to understand that it's not just about going out and trying to get your message out there and then just saying, oh, it doesn't work after like 1 month even. Even 1 month is not a sufficient amount of time. You need to go about this for long periods of time, continuously iterating your message through this feedback loop and continuously honing and refining it so that you can get a really nerve-striking message that you can put in front of anyone in the marketplace, drum up some sales appointments, get them onto a phone call, present your offer and how you're different from everyone else and how it's different and how we'll get them the desired situation, selling that desired future, and then closing them as a client and doing it over and over and over again, continuously sharpening that sword, continuously sharpening that sword. And that's how you do it here, is through the feedback. But most people, what they do is they change their niche right away, or they'll change their offer right away, or they'll change their outcome based on, and they'll change all three variables all the time. So like they'll go through their niche, and okay, the niche, oh, it doesn't have money, or these people don't buy, and they've done like 3 sales calls. That's not how you actually get successful. You have to keep this constant. So this here has to be a constant, right? And you want to have one variable. And you can have your offer and how it's designed, and this could be the variable. So you could be testing how you're presenting your offer, what their problem is, how you can solve it through your product, right? So how you're actually presenting your product and what it's designed to do, like we talked about in the product market fit. And then you have this here, you want to keep the outcome that they want. So their desired future, solving their problem, you want to keep this constant as well. So you want to keep these 2 constants and this variable. Once you have these, you can just continuously test and see, this is the result of, I got a client, and this was the result, this is how I pitched them, and so you can test this, because if you keep switching your niche market, and you keep changing your message and your offer, and you keep switching on the outcome and the problems that you're helping solve, and the outcomes that you're actually achieving, and you have no idea how to test and see, okay, this cause created this effect. You will not be able to test that. And I'll give you a prime example. One of my clients, Nate, he actually was doing this, but he would change his niche a lot. He would have a similar offer, and he would change this a lot. So he was just going, and he literally had this and he was getting a lot of feedback. So he was seeing a lot of feedback, but he wasn't listening to the feedback, and it was kind of this mechanism where he was just going brr, 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 back and forth, but he was doing the same thing, changing so quickly that he was not going anywhere. He was not getting any clients. But when we started to work together, I said, man, pick one niche, stick to it for long periods of time. I said, stick to it for at least 6 months to 1 year. And he's like, wow, like why would I do that? I'm like, because you have to have a significant amount of volume, and you can't just go and make rash decisions right off the bat. You have to be able to go at it for long periods of time, stick with it, and so you'll see success. Most people like to go in one thing, oh, it's not working, and they switch, and they never, ever achieve anything. And I stuck with financial advisors for around 2.5 years just doing that. I didn't switch. I went for around 6 months without getting even a client, right? So I could have gave up. I could have switched niches. I could have looked at all this thing, and I just stuck to one niche with one traffic source, which was LinkedIn, and I just mastered that. And then 6 months, within that period when I cracked the code, and this is what I call cracking the code. So when you have these 3 things alignment, you have the niche, offer, result, and you've tested it, you have the hypothesis, you got the hypothesis, and you've tested the hypothesis, and you've got the combination right, which was the niche. Okay, this is the right niche. You've presented your offer and you have the outcome. This is what the 3 things are, and this is what I call cracking the code, which is these 3 things in alignment. And so once you have these, that's when you're going to start to catapult yourself into an astronomical amount of results and success and clients for your business. And there's things I want to explain this here. So you have, if you look at it like a chart, you have a hypothesis, right? Then you have your action, and then you have the result. So you have, this is the action that you're taking. You're presenting the offer, right? So you have hypothesis, action, result, and most people they do this. They don't set a hypothesis, they don't take any action, and then they don't listen to the feedback. So this is the result and the feedback. So this result can also be the feedback. Right? Feedback is probably the most important thing, because if you get the feedback, you can then iterate and improve and like sharpen the sword, right? But most people don't listen to the feedback of the result, right? So they get a result and they don't listen to the feedback, which is the most important element, right? And then some people, they set the hypothesis, they do the action, but they don't listen to the feedback. And this is what Nate was doing. He was setting a hypothesis, he was taking a lot of action, wasn't listening to the feedback, and he just had this thing just going in circles, and he wasn't going anywhere. But once he started to listen to the feedback, take action, and set a hypothesis, that's where all success lies. If you want to be successful, you need to set a hypothesis, you need to take action, you need to listen to the feedback. And that's the biggest thing I want you to take away, and you need to stick at it for long periods of time because there's a cause and effect relationship. I'll tell you a story. So I was going after this financial advisors, right? And I connected with this guy on LinkedIn. We got on a call and I presented him my offer. He didn't buy, and I could have took that feedback as like, okay, he doesn't want to buy, this niche isn't right. I could have said all these different things which were in my head, but I just kept at it. I just kept at it over and over and over again, every single day. And then a year later, he comes back to me, still sees me on LinkedIn, still prospecting for financial advisors, still going after financial planners and stuff, reaches out to me, gets on a call, and says, I have 86 advisors that I want to use your services with. And at that moment, I realized the power of sticking to one thing and the cause and effect relationship. I was doing a lot of action. I wasn't seeing much results, and then I started to exponentially grow, and I actually created a joint venture partnership with him that generated, 86 clients for me because I was just focused on that specific niche market for long periods of time, and people started to take notice. My message started resonating. They saw the value I was providing, and that's how I got a lot of success out of it, is because I stuck to it. And if you're going to go into a niche market and you're going to give up or pivot after a month, 3 weeks, a week, which I see most people do, you're not going to achieve anything. Stick at it for long periods of time, gain the market feedback over and over again, feed it back over and over again, listen to the feedback, and if you listen to these, you keep sharpening that sword, you will start to see massive, massive results. Now, if you like this video, go ahead, subscribe to this channel, and press that like button. I'm going to be releasing a lot more videos like this and teaching you guys some of the things that I've learned over the years and how I've used them real world in real practice, and how I've been able to scale my business to over $500,000, and we're on track to do multiple millions this year for our business, which is Executive Advantage. So if you want help, if you need anything like this, I'm going to drop a link to a free training that I did, which is going to show you a little bit more depth on how you do all this stuff, as well as how you pick your niche, how you go several layers deeper, find that highly profitable sub-niche, and then climb to the top of it as that #1 expert authority in that space, and also how you turn your whole business into a system where you can actually rinse and repeat this over and over again and start to really scale using generating appointments and closing clients using this method. If you want to schedule a call with me, myself, or my team, go ahead, press that button below this video. If you liked it, go ahead, click that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.